My fellow Gooners, humans, and everything in between. You're back with Concourse TV, the place to be. We have to have a uncomfortable conversation. Does Berta need to leave? Now I'm looking at it from both angles now, because I hear a lot offline and I hear a lot online, and my stance is this. Berta's signings last summer got us over the line for the title. And my stance offline with people that know me was that they said, is this window good enough? They asked me to give it a rating out of 10. I gave it an 8 out of 10 for all the business that was moved out, so the loans, etc., as well as the players brought in. I didn't agree with a couple of the signings that were brought in, especially Kepa and Norgard, but I understood the mission that was at hand, and that was just to get the title over the line. Now we fast forwarded to this summer, and people are holding the same energy over Berta like we're still in the last summer. We're looking for ceiling raisers now. So now we've got the title over the line. We are now looking for players that now take us to the next level and keep us there. So we're not looking for squad depth anymore. So obviously that costs money. It's going to take longer to get done. And I believe Berta deserves grace in terms of finding the right personnel, because we're not signing your Noni Maduekes and your Keppers, your Norgards and those kind of players anymore. We're looking for ceiling raisers. So I can understand the frustration. You wanted business done. To be honest, I agree with most of what's happened, to be honest. Monga, we wanted to pay 6.5 million for to Leicester. Leicester said, no, we're going to hold that for 10 million. And honestly, if it comes into a battle with City or Chelsea for players, we're not getting them. Let's be honest here. We're not on the same playing field as them. Sometimes you got to know where you are in society and where you're not. And we can't compete with those guys financially. So once they come in and we haven't closed the target, they're going to pay whatever because they can afford to pay whatever. So let's not judge Don Berta by the standards of clubs that are run by states. These guys are run by states, guys. Let's keep things in context when we're actually breaking down things. Now, Tonali, I didn't personally want him. Is he an upgrade on what we have? Possibly. But I don't feel like the price justified the means. But the main issue here is because we've let Tonali go to Tottenham, now it's making it harder for us to get Bruno over the line. And now we've seen major transfers like Elliot Anderson going for, I think, 113 million or whatever it was to City. And then you've got Morgan Rogers just over my shoulder, who has gone for 117 million pounds. People that know me said I wanted Morgan Rogers over Eze, as it's a joke between myself and the Arsenal group chat that Eze is a moments man. And I said that from the get-go. If you want him to control games and so forth, he's not that guy. But if you want him to change a game, he can be that guy. He's not going to do it every time, but yeah, you catch the gist. And for me, Morgan Rogers delivered more. But now we've come to the business end of it. Arsenal have made a valuation of Morgan Rogers and they were willing to go up to 100 million, which I think is more than fair. But if we're bringing this into context, like I've asked people offline in my Arsenal group chat, is do you rate Morgan Rogers, just over my shoulder, higher than you rate Declan Rice? And if your answer is no, then you have your answer. But if your answer is yes, then personally I think you've got an agenda, because I've wanted Morgan Rogers before we signed Eze. I've wanted Morgan Rogers for about 2 seasons now. So the last summer I said we should have gone for him. I know it would have cost more, but we couldn't get it done because of the amount of business that has been poor over the course of Arteta and Edu's reign. Berta's had to come in and fix many positions at once and just get us over the line. He's done that. So give him his grace in finding us that next player. Morgan Rogers, great player, £117 million. No, he couldn't even start for England. And the only reason he started for England the last couple of games is because Saka was injured and Madueke wasn't providing the returns on his performances. So, as I always say, keep things in context and try and think without emotions and focus more on logical solutions. Because I'm an Arsenal fan, so we all want the best for Arsenal, but I think I kind of detached myself from Arsenal during the last decade of Wenger's reign because I was one of those people that wanted Wenger gone, as I believed he was past his sell-by date. But then again, context is key. Kroenkes didn't own 100% of the club. There was still an in-house tussle, should we say, between Usmanov and KSC. So Wenger was having to sell our best player every summer. Do you know how difficult that is to rebuild every summer? You know you're going to have to sell your best player every summer. Arteta hasn't walked into that. So that's why I say we have to apply context to all situations when it comes to whether the manager's doing his job, whether the technical director's doing his job, whether the Kroenkes are doing their job. I always say, look at it as a business. We all support this football club, but ultimately, the football club is a business. They're there to make profit. First and foremost, that's what they're there to do. Everything outside of that, winning trophies and etc., it's a bonus. It's honestly a bonus. I don't think we should take it for granted that we should just be winning titles and winning trophies every year. That's not how football works. It's often cyclical. So Liverpool had their phase, City have had their phase. I'm hoping this is now going to be our phase. I believe the next 2 to 3 seasons are critical, as all of our rivals are in transition right now. City have got a new manager, Liverpool have got a new manager, Tottenham have a new manager, Chelsea have a new manager. That's every one of our rivals of the top 6, the usual collective that have new managers. Apart from Villa, who have inserted themselves recently, maybe Newcastle make a bounce back. I don't personally see it. I believe Eddie Howe has taken Newcastle as far as they can go. So I'm not really putting them in the mix. And Villa, they've made a few transfers that are good, but I don't think they have enough to push the usual top 6. So I believe this season you're going to see a reset of the top 6. I feel like Tottenham will jump back into the top 6. Title challenging, I don't see it. But I feel like the top 6 is going to reset itself, and we're going to see the general context of that for the next 2 to 3 seasons. But I'm saying give Don Berta some grace. He got us to the promised land in one window. Remember, Arteta and Edu have had 14 windows between them. And that's including January windows and summer windows. So let's apply context when we're saying these things, please. So as far as I'm concerned, the window is open until September the 1st. The official window opened on the 1st of July. It's the 20th of July, guys. We're not even 3 weeks into this transfer window. Give a man time. And obviously the World Cup has been going on, so that makes deals difficult. Can deals still get done? Yes, I agree with that also. Deals can still be done, but it's much harder to do when you're not available to have access to players constantly. So let's give Berta some grace. Let's give Arteta some grace. And anybody that knows me knows I was a staunch Arteta out person. I'm not saying I'm in or out at the moment. I'm saying he isn't going anywhere. So this season, I need to see him deliver a back-to-back title, bare minimum, and push for the Champions League again, and try and get a Carabao or a FA Cup over the line, because it's been long overdue. We've had too many slugs at it to not get one of those 2 over the line. So that's where I'm going to leave this piece. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. I love a discussion. Let me know. Laters.